Home Team Heroes, presented by Sobeys, Canada's family grocery store.
I'm going to ask you a question. When you left the house this morning, what were you thankful for? Think on it. Was it the roof over your head, the shirt on your back, or maybe it was something even more basic than those basic necessities? It's easy to take it all for granted, especially if you never had nothing.
I'm really thankful, I'm here and not there. Sometimes I'll look back and go, I can't believe 9 years ago I wasn't even here. I wasn't even playing hockey. I wasn't even going to school. And I look back sometimes and I feel really sorry for my family because they're still there and it's a really hard place to be.
Gina Yrjana is 16 years old. Gina was 7 when she was adopted from an orphanage in Kinshasa, the capital city of the Democratic Republic of Congo, along with her younger sister, Prosper.
My birth mom had 10 kids, so I was the 9th child, and my younger sister was the 10th.
Yusi and Colleen Yrjana live in Campbell River, midway up Vancouver Island's east coast.
Once our older kids had left home, our house all of a sudden went from, having our kids at home and all their friends and not all that hubbub, it all kind of just died down. And we had the opportunity of international adoption.
There was a couple other families that were given me and my sister's name, but they didn't want to adopt us together because of my age. So they were willing to only take my sister.
They had asked us if we would do a sibling group because many of the sibling groups don't get adopted.
We said yes, and that's how we ended up with international adoption with Gina and Prosper.
According to the World Health Organization, the DRC is one of the most dangerous places on Earth for a woman to grow up. A difficult life is not made easier by having a 3-year-old sister to look out for.
This is our family tree. This is my Congolese family side, and this is my Canadian family side.
I don't remember very much because I was still pretty young, but if I see some photos, I can kind of remember, but not really.
It was definitely tough when I first came to Canada. I didn't see a lot of people my race. That was really hard. And I do remember going to school, I would see all these girls with the pretty long hair, and I wanted that, and I had to get used to loving my race and who I am and stuff like that. It took a bit of time.
Part of adoption is abandonment. And so adoptive kids go through a lot of the whys.
The girls going through grief and loss, them having to work through that, us trying to support them in the best that way that we could with what we had. It was a struggle for the family.
My other middle name is Fura, which means joy. To look back and go, that's crazy that I was there. And I used to live in the Congo, and the Congo lifestyle in here is way different.
Sport is as good a way as any to break barriers, forge relationships, find belonging. Shortly after coming to Canada, the inevitable happened. Gina found herself in a rink at a hockey game.
We took her to our grandson's hockey game, which actually is a year younger than Gina. We're watching the game and Gina turns over and says, "Hey, can I do this?"
I thought it was really cool with all the gear and the gliding, and I asked my parents if I could try it.
We said, it'll be cold, and you don't like to be cold, so I don't know that you're gonna really like playing hockey. And she said, oh, I will. I'll love this.
You'd have to learn to skate. And Gina said, well, I already know how to skate. I said, Gina, you've never been on the ice? And she says, no, I can skate. It's just like we used to play in the mud in Kinshasa. We used to slip back and forth. It's just the same.
I think it was a day later, they took me to public skating, and I loved it so much. Even though I fell a lot, I loved it.
At first, I think she just loved the fact that she had somewhere to go. She would just march down. The bag was as big as she was. She played co-ed, they called it, but pretty much she was the only girl on the team for a lot of years. And she was good. I mean, people would come up to us and say, oh my gosh, she just learned to skate.
Gina was good, so good. But the better she got, the harder it became to find local teams to play with.
Obviously living in a small town, there's not a lot of, female teams close by, so we'd always have to be driving.
We were spending so much time on the highway and on the road that it just became unfeasible for us as a family.
Her coach at the time knew of a place halfway across the country where Gina could get all the ice time she wanted and all the competition she needed. The Ontario Hockey Academy in Cornwall.
It's one of those decisions where we talk about it as a family, and we get to the point where, yeah, okay, we're gonna put you on a plane, and you wonder if it's the right thing.
It's her dream. She had left everything she ever knew as a 6-year-old. So how could we say at 16 that she wasn't able to do that? She received a scholarship and said she was ready to go, and so we let her go.
I need to be on time. It's art.
At the OHA, Gina lives with her teammates. She goes to class with them.
Annie, yours actually looks good. I know. Look at mine. It doesn't look that bad.
Practices with them, plays in the under-22 elite division with them. Gina came to Ontario looking for hockey, but what she found was family and a sense of belonging.
There should be nobody in this room nervous about anything today. When you're nervous about anything, girls, all you gotta do is work hard and let your instincts take over. Let's give it our best effort out there today, girls, all right?
Hockey is a very monochromatic sport. Diversity is not the game's strong suit, but that's changing at the OHA.
We have 22 countries represented this year at our school, and they're like family. We're it's like one big family here. It's a lot of fun to have them.
I think it's really cool that our school is so diverse, and it just makes me feel like also I'm not alone, and that there's like, other race and stuff like that.
My name is Inbi Ha. I'm from Seoul, South Korea, and I play for goalie, and this is my 3rd year at OHA. I have played for national team when I was 13 years old. I was the youngest ever player in South Korea.
Being here, you meet people from all over the world, and it's pretty funny how small the world actually is.
We talk how hockey is different by different country. Every time we talk with Gina, we all say like, oh, hockey makes us one.
For so much of their childhood, the only thing in the world Gina and Prosper had was each other. So from a very young age, too young, Gina had to learn how to defend.
Life in the Congo, you have to be like very aware of your surroundings. Like kids have to grow up really quick too. And I think that's the biggest thing for me. That's why I have such high hockey sense, is because of that. I always had to be alert where I was, what I was doing. And if you made one bad move, like that could have been it for you. And that's part of my game, is just knowing where everybody is and making sure I'm making the right play.
Gina literally sees the ice better than almost anyone I've ever met. Just when she's on the ice, she always just knows where everyone is, what's all happening, where everyone's going. She just has the head for the game, and she's such a smart player.
Her ability to be patient with the puck in her hands, I think, are the 2 things that I noticed. She's very hardworking on the ice. She's very smart when it comes to plays. If I have the ability to jump offensively, I know that I'm gonna have somebody supporting behind me and somebody that will be able to cover me.
She's a natural defender. We've always seen it. She has almost a sixth sense where part of her trauma makes her an amazing hockey player because she knows where every single person is on that ice.
Her being in an orphanage with a baby sister on her hip, I think that's where that comes from. She's always had to defend and protect.
Canada's hockey. Hockey's Canada, the national anthem. You're sitting there, you're watching. When she took off her helmet, you're like, this is her dream. She's a young woman. She's living on her own. You feel somewhat detached, but your heart is right there on the ice. Okay, G. Come on. Oh. Shoot it, G! Let a girl shoot! Oh. I'm a nervous wrecking person.
I want her to feel joy when she plays hockey. I think for Gina, it's still a release and an escape. I think it's a form of therapy.
When I'm on the ice, I just feel like I'm getting away from all the world's problems. I just feel so free. It's so fun to do.
There was always that connection. She would go to hockey, and it would give her that peace in her spirit and in her heart that allowed her to be this person she wanted to be, which was a hockey player. You know, she wanted to be the Haley Wickenhauser and the Marie-Philip Poulin. She wanted to skate out there and do this amazing sport.
I honestly would just love to be on the Canadian national team. I think that's a dream for like a lot of girls who play hockey.
Kids with trauma, they have all these emotions and they have all this stuff. And you can't be in your emotion part of your brain at the same time as you're in your physical activity part of your brain. So we encouraged it, but she drove the bus.
Something I want people to take away from the story is that even though I'm here in Canada, I'm living a dream that I never thought I would be when I was back in the Congo. Don't give up. Like, even though it feels like there's no hope, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. And honestly, being there, I did not imagine myself playing what I love, being in such amazing family, and I would just tell myself, just don't give up. There is always hope.